This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the last races are held at Dunedin's Forbury Park Raceway at Friday night's Greyhound meeting. Dunedin-based Southern comedians go toe-to-toe in a stand-up comedy competition with the winners off to the regional finals. And the Beaumont Hotel has gone to the dogs with a Southern barkup competition taking place in the public bar. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi o te ahi nei, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. The Otago Greyhound Racing Club held its last race meeting at Forbury Park on Friday, with the racetrack being closed down as a cost-saving measure. Trainer John McInerney says he's disappointed at how the club was being treated by the New Zealand Greyhound Racing Organisation.
Charging out of the starting boxes for one of the very last times, greyhounds raced around the track for the final meeting at Forbury Park in South Dunedin on Friday. Darfield-based trainer and owner John McInerney says he has happy memories of bringing his children to dog race meetings as early as the mid-1980s.
When they were 4 or 5 years old, we used to come down here and race dogs from Invercargill, and they'd be up around the grandstands, up in the commentator's box. The kids had a great time, and so did we.
The club, which opened this track in 1980, is now without a home because Forbury Park is set to be mothballed and sold, a victim of a major review that decided the facility is economically unsustainable.
So I'd just like to say one thing, it's a sad day, and it's a sad day we don't have a representative from the Greyhound Board to come down here after all these years, 44 years plus. No one from the Greyhound Racing New Zealand has even said a kind word or come down and said, well, this is what we can do to help you people, sorry you're closing down.
Waihola-based greyhound owner and trainer John Guthrie won the first race of the day with a dog called Aramoana, who, when she retires, will become his personal pet. Both he and McInerney are keen to point out that almost 100% of greyhounds these days are rehomed as pets.
I've rehomed just about every dog I've had, and I've had a lot of dogs. I'm always going to have 2, and they'll be living in our lounge down the track. The one that you saw win the first race will always be with me.
People don't know. Like if a dog breaks a leg here today, the vet will take it away, fix it up, and then it'll go to either the girl in Invercargill or it'll go to Bradshaw's in Christchurch, and they'll keep it till it's ready to go out to a home.
But Friday was possibly not the end of the club, with a hope that they will be allowed to establish a greyhound track 1.5 hours drive north in Oamaru.
It's a very good locality. It would suit me perfectly, suit a lot of people. Whether it happens is another story, you know.
In Dunedin, the South Today.
A man was found asleep in his overturned car after crashing it in North Dunedin. Dunedin police say the car crashed in Lovelock Ave in the early hours of Sunday morning. The car had overturned and a member of the public found a young man asleep inside. The driver recorded a breath alcohol level of 1,392 micrograms. Police say disappointingly the man was one of several alleged drink drivers caught by police at the weekend. More than 80 people laughed the night away at the Octagon's new Athenaeum Theatre on Saturday evening. It was the final heat in the Dunedin League of the Lower South Island Raw Comedy Quest.
Dunedin's new Athenaeum Theatre was comfortably packed for the city's final heat of the Lower South Island Raw Comedy Quest. Canadian comedian Alex Muczynski says the art of stand-up comedy is alive and well in the South.
Comedy is one of those arts, like probably most arts, where a crowd really matters, but I think maybe less, and in this case, the energy you get from a crowd really kind of builds a show, and today with 9 incredible comedians, I think they got a real show.
Treading the boards and taking the microphone in the spotlight isn't something anyone can do. At the grand old age of 19, a comedian, simply known as Mo, has learned a few tricks during their time, including which type of open mic to turn up to.
When you're younger, you're sometimes sort of a bit fearless, and my first gig that I ever did, I got the thing wrong, and instead of it being a comedy open mic, it was a music open mic. So, I've come a long way.
Alex Muczynski, Mo, Ben McCook-Weir and Maria Colombo have managed to convince the judges on the night and will be making their way through to the regional semi-finals. And although she's new to stand-up, Maria Colombo says the local scene is in good heart and humour.
I actually run a Brosaurus, so I work in the improv side of things. This is actually my first stand-up competition. And I always love the Dunedin comedy scene when I go investigate it outside of the own things I'm doing. But yeah, it's great, full of amazing artists. Dunedin is just like this melting pot of talent, and yeah.
The next Southern audiences set to have their funny bones tickled will be in Queenstown on August 21st at the regional semi-finals. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Otago bus drivers are upset they are still waiting for a wage increase promised to them a year ago. Last July, Dunedin and Queenstown Orbis bus drivers received a commitment to pay them the living wage of $22.10 per hour. This was following campaigns by Tramways Union and First Union. The Otago Regional Council has promised to back pay drivers to July last year, but has not set a date as to when the increase or back pay might happen. The ORC says there are a number of complexities involved, including departing staff, KiwiSaver, leave and taxes. Around 40 farm dogs turned up to Beaumont Hotel to take part in the establishment's first barkup. Raising money for charity, the event was organised by the local shepherd who first came to New Zealand about 8 years ago as a German backpacker.
The Beaumont Hotel held its very first barkup on Saturday. The event was organised by Jana Fransbach, who has been a shepherd in New Zealand for over the last 7 years and also works part-time at the hotel's bar. Fransbach also took part in the friendly competition with her huntaway called Jade.
It's non-competitive, you can't sort of train for it because you have your dog, your huntaway, and it barks. So today the winner is who's got the loudest, most grunty bark. That's the main winner of the event. So it's actually just a social event to get everyone together, talk about their dogs, bring their dogs.
Working together with the Miller's Flat Collie Club, the barkup attracted a crowd of about 80 people, with Waitahuna Collie Club President Carl Burnett helping judge the 40 or so canine entries doing what they do best most mornings.
Generally, barking up is associated with the beginning of a muster, and it's probably early in the morning and they're fresh and they're ready to go. So they'll give it all, and that barkup will send sheep on their way and set the tone for the rest of the day.
A smartphone app was used to accurately record the volume of each dog's bark, with owners knowing they would have to get up onto hay bales themselves and bark if their dog was too shy.
Some dogs are so scared of the environment, there's no sheep, no tussock, and they end up sulking. And in that case, you might have to get up yourself on the hay bale and bark for your dog.
A portion of the $10 entry fee is to be donated to the rural wellbeing charity called Will to Live. In Beaumont, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, we have a look at CBD developments in Invercargill, and we have a wrap of Dunedin's club rugby season. Ka kite akwanei.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
It's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Be sure to tune in to Football Chat every week, where we chat about local football fixtures, results and everything else that's happening in the local game.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
No mai nor, welcome back. The Met Service says a spell of unsettled weather is set to bring snow to some of the South Island's alpine passes. The nationwide forecaster has issued road snowfall warnings for the Lindis Pass, the Crown Range Road, the Milford Road and State Highway 73, Arthurs Pass. A front is expected to move northeast across the country from the southwest today, followed by a strong, cold southerly change. Over a year in, redevelopment of part of Invercargill's central business district continues apace. To celebrate reaching the halfway point, the company behind the $230 million rebuild has released a video montage of progress.
With still over half a year to go, Invercargill's CBD redevelopment has already leased out over half of the space. Invercargill Central Limited, the company behind the $230 million redevelopment, celebrated the halfway point last week. Among the businesses already signed up are Hallenstein's, Glasson's, Pasco's Jewellers, Life Pharmacy, Starbucks and Australian surfwear brand Amazon. The project's anchor tenant is Farmers, which hopes to open its doors in May next year, with the remaining stores open by next Christmas. The developer says there'll be 3 different food court areas, with one featuring restaurants for sit-down diners. Among the eateries to look forward to are Sake Brothers, Korean Fried Chicken, Reburger and Temptation Desserts. The developer says despite challenges such as legal action, the COVID-19 lockdown, bad weather and some funding issues, the project is still on track. It's hoped more tenants will be announced in the near future. In Invercargill, the South Today.
The Dunedin club rugby season came to a dramatic close this weekend as the Tidy Eels got the better of Green Island thanks to one player's super boot. Rookie first 5/8 Cameron Miller kicking his team to the victory at Forsyth Bar Stadium.
The last kick ending the Dunedin Premier Club Rugby final and sealing the victory for the Tyree Eels over the Green Island Grizzlies. Despite most of the team's points being kicked by Cameron Miller, Victorious captain Ben Morris says it was a team effort.
That's right. I mean, we didn't come in here to win on penalties. It would have been nice to score a try, but you know that's how it turned out, and we made the most out of those opportunities with a handy goal kicker. So full credit to Cammy, awesome scout boot. But you know, to the boys to get into those opportunities, you know, yeah, it's just a great feeling.
The rookie tidy first 5 Miller drilled 6 penalties to help seal a 21-17 win over Green Island at Forsyth Bar Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Green Island became the first team since Southern in 1997 to lose the final, despite scoring a try and keeping its line intact.
Well, you know, they've been here before. They built scoreboard pressure, and they took those threes, you know, and it was ugly, but they got the result, and full credit to them. They did their homework, as they do every year, and look at the team's unreal, mate, so full credit to Tory boys.
You had to feel for the Green Island Grizzlies. They played a lot of rugby and their fans turned out in big numbers. The match attracting an estimated crowd of 6,500 people. Green Island suffered an early setback when centre Levi Harmon fell awkwardly in a tackle and was stretchered off the field with a suspected broken leg. However, Captain Peter Merrilees remains philosophical.
First time these boys are straight out of school into a final, and they dealt with it awesome, gave us a chance, you know, and that's all we wanted to do is give us a chance. We were right into it to the last minute.
Tidy showing composure to clinch back-to-back titles. It's the club's 5th senior banner since 2011. Captain Ben Morris describing the final as a hell of a game, while Peter Merrilees says some of his players should be in line for a call-up to the National Provincial Championship, as they've really stepped up during the season. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we have an update on Westport's recent flooding and we check out where it might just snow next. Hea koko ake nei.
What have you got? Okay. Chicks World, Party Town, excellent. Love it. Chicks World. Chicks World.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
Hoki Nor. Flooding this month on the west coast's Buller River were the largest of any river in New Zealand in almost 100 years. That's according to measurements recently released by NIWA. NIWA says historical records indicate the river hasn't flooded so badly since 1926. While it's not New Zealand's largest river, the Buller does experience the country's biggest flooding. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The last races have been held at Dunedin's Forbury Park Raceway at Friday night's greyhound meeting, marking the end of an era. Dunedin-based Southern comedians have gone toe-to-toe in a stand-up comedy competition, with the winners off to the regional finals in Queenstown. And the Beaumont Hotel has gone to the dogs, with a Southern barkup competition taking place in the public bar. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. Here's some relief in sight for orchardists and the horticultural industry in general. The government announcing today that seasonal workers from Samoa, Tonga and Vanuatu will be allowed to travel to New Zealand from September and not have to worry about managed isolation. So that's great news there. It's aimed at helping out those industries that have been relying on these workers for such a long time. You think Central Otago orchardists is one of them. There was talk this year that a lot of fruit was going to be left to rot throughout the country and crops weren't able to be picked because of it. So big relief for them. We've got some reaction from the industry. There's about 7,000 recognised seasonal workers in the country at the moment, but they need 10,000. So it's going to be a big help for them. The government's going to set out some clearer guidelines early next week on how this is all going to work. So we'll look forward to those. We're going to finally see some action back at Carrisbrook. Placemakers has confirmed it's going to be opening a new outlet at the former sports ground. It's 10 years since the last match was played there, 2011. I remember it well. Freezing night watching Fiji get hammered by the All Blacks.
We were both there.
Yeah, we were. You're probably in the children's section though, I would have thought. Yeah. I called a Stuart built a warehouse here not so long ago, but it's really sat empty and looks a dog's breakfast for quite some time. So it'll be nice to see some action out there at last. Travel pages, we're off to Whakatane, taking some wildlife tours up there. And we were going to get excited about Peter Burling and Blair Tuke's bid for gold tonight. We're due to start at 6:30. The race, we've just been told, has been called off due to weather conditions until tomorrow now. So a few other things going on tonight though, so we'll be keeping an eye on possible medal prospects in the equestrian eventing. Show jumping phase starting about 8 o'clock tonight. And of course Laurel Hubbard, she's had plenty of headlines about her already so far. She's going to be competing in the 87 kg plus women's weightlifting. That's starting about 10 to 11, so we're going to try and get some of that in our second edition newspaper as well. So plenty of coverage in the ODT.
Lots of viewing. Just
finally, big congratulations to the Torra Eels on winning back-to-back championships as well. And I don't know, but the beer always tastes a wee bit better when you win.
Thanks, Thank you. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, looking north from the railway station overbridge. Looking at the situation, the cold southerly airflow should ease tonight. There we are, and diffuse tomorrow with coastal rain and inland snow clearing. A fine day on Wednesday ahead of more unsettled weather later in the week. To the centres now, and starting at the northwest of the South Island, Westport and Greymouth both experience partial cloud tomorrow, reaching 13 degrees. Moving to the northeast, there are chances of showers for Nelson on 13 degrees, and rain is likely for Blenheim on 12. Moving to Canterbury, it's rain right down the coast and getting cooler as we travel down. Kaikoura on 11, Christchurch 10 degrees, and Ashburton on 8. To the southern towns, where everywhere is 9 and fine. Light southerlies do freshen the day for each of the centres. To the Central Lakes area, Te Anau is the same as those to the south, 9 degrees and fine with light winds. It's cooler in Queenstown, Wanaka and Alexandra on 6, 7 and 8 degrees respectively. Southeasterlies easing over the day, becoming fine here as well. South to southwest winds ease further north too, just 7 degrees and becoming fine inland, while rain clears on the coast, Oamaru on 9 and Timaru on 10 degrees. In Dunedin, some rain tonight with strong cold southwesterlies and a low of 6 degrees. And while early rain clears tomorrow morning, skies will remain mostly cloudy till late in the day, with southerly winds decreasing throughout. A high of 9 and a low of 2. And it's mostly fine and sunny on Wednesday, just a few clouds with light northeast winds, a high of 11 and a low of 8 degrees. And in Invercargill, showers clear tonight with an overnight low of 3. Early clouds scatters tomorrow morning and southerly winds decrease before it frosts tomorrow night, a high of 10 and a low of -1. And it's fine and sunny on Wednesday with high cloud increasing later and moderate northerly winds developing during the afternoon, a high of 13 and a low of 7 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.